Today in class, and actually today and yesterday in class, we were talking about what is called a shift. A shift, which they have this down in their vocabulary words, is when we are multiplying by a multiple of 10. We look at the zeros, and that tells us how many spaces over, how many place values over that number shifts or moves. So let's say, for instance, we have 47 times, let's say, 100. Since we're doing it times 100, we look at our zeros. And in 100, there's 2 zeros. So we're going to shift everything over 2 place values. So this 7, which is in the 1st place, gets shifted over to the 100th place. This 4 that was in the 10th place gets shifted over to the 1000th place. Alright, so our answer is 4,700. Everything afterwards, we just add on those 2 zeros. So what a lot of kids are doing in their brains, they're saying, okay, I see 42 times 100. There's 2 zeros at the end, so I want to add 2 zeros onto my number. That's another way of doing it. If that works for them, great. This also works with decimals. So let's say we have 5 and 1400 times 10. And let me zoom in just a little bit for you here. There we go. Alright. So we're going to shift everything over by the number of zeros. In this case, there's 1 0. So we're going to shift all the places over 1 to the left. Whenever we're multiplying, it's always going to the left. So this 4 goes from the 100th place to the 10th place. This 1 goes from the 10th place to the 1's place. And this 5 goes from the 1's place to the 10's place. So now we have this. Alright, and if they want to, they can actually add on a placeholder 0 too. It really doesn't matter when you're dealing with decimals, as long as the 0 comes after the last non-digit number. We also talked about exponents. Alright, whenever you see an exponent, it's like this. You'll see 10 to the power of 5, or 7 to the power of 3, or whatever it may be. Your big number is your base number. This is the one that's going to be repeatedly multiplied. The exponent, which is the smaller number, tells you how many times you're going to repeat that number. So in this case, it's 10 to the power of 5, or sometimes you might hear the 5th power of 10. It means we're going to multiply 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. We're multiplying 10 times. Now, once again, we're trying to do quick multiplication, not too much of writing this out. I don't want to go, well, 10 times 10 is 100, 100 times 10 is 1,000. We don't want them to go through this right now. We're doing it mentally. So, mentally, we're looking at our exponent up here, and when it's a base of 10, we're going to look at our exponent. This tells us how many zeros we should have in our number. So in this case, our exponent is 5. So we're going to have 1, and then we're going to have 5 zeros behind it. And don't forget to put your commas in. So our 10 to the power of 5 is 100,000. Let's try it again over here. So let's try 10 to the power of 3. So once again, 10 to the power of 3 is the same thing as 10 times 10 times 10. They should know how to write that out. But we want to do it mentally. So we do our first number, 1, and we have 3 zeros behind it. 1, 2, 3. So that one is 1,000. Now you'll also run into this tonight on your homework. You'll have something like 5 times 10 to the power of, let's say, 2. So what this means is we're going to do 5 times 10 times 10. Now, we already know that 10 times 10 is 100, and then we're going to multiply it times 5, which gives us 500. But once again, we're trying to do this mentally. So we look at our first number, or whatever that number is that we're multiplying by. We're going to write that down. And then we're going to look at our exponent, 2, and we're going to put that many zeros behind it. This is exclusively for a base of 10, by the way. Let's try that one more time. So let's do 46, we already did 47. times 10 to the power of, let's say, 4. So we're going to write down our first factor, 46, and we look at our exponent. Our exponent says 4, so we're going to put 4 zeros. Alright, so once again we worked on shifting and exponents, powers of 10. So once again, these rules only work with powers of 10. When you have a base of 10. Alright.